Hello, this is Cristi, yet another tutorial for Descript. In this one, I'm going to show you how you can add captions or animated subtitles on the screen for two or more speakers and have them all shown separately and differently styled for every separate speaker and with your own options and customizations. So let's dive into this right now. I have a Zoom recording with myself and my friend Chris Menard in Descript. I've already imported this, so if I go to the sidebar here, I have my project files, and this file here is a Zoom recording. I've already transcribed it and recognized the speakers. So this is not a multi-track, it's not a multi-video stream file, it's just one video with myself and my friend side by side. You can see the black bars as well. So how can I make captions show for different speakers for when I speak, show some captions somewhere, and when he speaks, automatically show his captions somewhere else in Descript? This is very easy to do. First of all, I'm going to create a composition from this file, or you can create a sequence if you have multiple video streams. That's not a problem. And I'm going to create a composition right there. And you can see Descript has identified both of us. I don't need this black portion at the beginning. So here we go. You can see myself and my guest down here. And also you can see that we have been recognized, the labels with the speakers. So that's important. If you don't have the speakers recognized, or if the text is not correctly labeled to the appropriate speaker, what I'm going to show you doesn't work, because Descript needs to know when each person is talking. Even if there's a bit of crosstalk, Descript should be able to distinguish between the two and show you the appropriate ones. So how can I do this? Well, I'm going to make some room here by making the text a bit more narrow and this sidebar more narrow, because we won't need it. First of all, I need to add captions to my composition. So the way that I usually do this is I make a selection first. Because my entire meeting has been recorded and transcribed, I want to show these captions throughout the meeting. So that means I want to select all. So I'm going to click somewhere in the text, Control A to select all. Command A on the Mac, I guess. And then I'm going to add the fancy captions. You can see my text is highlighted in blue, which means it's selected. And you can go to this plus icon at the top and insert a fancy captions. Fancy. We type fancy, we find the fancy captions and click to add. Now, by default, the fancy captions will show both speakers' speech. And you can see they've been added in the middle here of the screen, and you can see on the timeline the fancy caption track, the blue sort of purple one. And you can see because I selected all, it shows it throughout my entire 39-minute recording. I'm going to position this, I'm going to move it here, and possibly let's call this my caption. So this is going to be my caption. So I'm going to put it underneath here. Maybe make it smaller, maybe 25 or something. Doesn't matter. So now this is showing all the speakers, but here's the nice cool thing on the sidebar. And if you don't see this, by the way, you can click here in the top right section to bring up the clip inspector. You open that and select the fancy captions, and you can see it's dynamic text. That's what it's called, and it's from the transcript, and just below that says filter speaker. So in this one, by default, of course, it shows all the speakers, but I can actually choose just myself. So now it's not going to show anything when Chris is talking. It's only going to show when I am talking, right? So let's see it. Having me on. The main reason I think people want to record separate audio for. Okay, so you can see the speech appears, but then if I move to where Chris is talking, the purple, blue, you know, yeah, I've got a bunch of videos coming out.
I've got a lot of stuff happening.
You can see that he's talking and there's no captions. Not a problem. I will add a second fancy captions track just for him. So make sure you deselect everything. Don't have the fancy captions selected. Click in text somewhere. And again, because I want this to be for the entire conversation, Control A on Windows, select the whole text. And this time I'm going to use a shortcut to bring the conductor thing, Control Shift K, which is the insertion command, and that would have been brought up by that plus sign at the top, and say fancy caption again. Press enter. And if you look down there, I have now created a new fancy caption track just below the first one. To make it easy for me to select, I'm going to right click on it and say move to top. And let me move back to the start where we are both on the screen. And I'm going to grab this and put it here under Chris. And just to make, I'm going to make a different color. So I'm going to use something like an orange or whatever, just so we can see the difference. And here we go. So this time in the speaker filter, of course, I have to choose Chris. So now you should now be able to see when we are talking, you should see different captions being activated on the screen. So let's play from here on separate tracks. And you can do this with multiple participants, not just two.
So it's not just one-on-one interview, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
pretty
it helps to have the audio separate.
I went and looked it up before we started this record.
So it works. And now every one of these fancy caption elements are customizable. You can change the font size, the color. You can turn on the word level animation to have the word highlighted as they're talking. So there you have it. This is how you can do it. And if you arrange your videos in a different position, maybe you do a vertical video, top to bottom, you can place them somewhere else. So this is how you do it using the speaker filter on the fancy captions element in Descript, but you do have to add it twice to your screen, to your project. Thank you for watching. I hope you find these useful. If you do, feel free to subscribe to my channel, like this video and share it, and let me know in the comments what you thought about this. And if you have any other questions, happy to make a video or show you around if I can. And I'm also working on a Descript course, and the link is going to be in the description when it's launching. So thank you again for watching, and see you on the next one.